The next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it, starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Allie Porter and Ehlers Smith.
Welcome everyone to the Mastering AI Momentum Show. I'm Ehlers Smith, your AI business strategist with Millionaire Momentum AI Agency, where we help founders future-proof their businesses with intelligent systems that create consistency, control, and growth. And today's guest embodies what it means to be ahead of the curve, to see the future before it's obvious, and to build empires around innovation. I'm so excited to be joined by Kelly Ehlers. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, so Kelly is a true pioneer in digital marketing and entrepreneurship. Long before social media strategy was a buzzword, Kelly was building it from the ground up. She's the founder of The Evoke and the Tease Media, recognized 5 times on the Inc. 5000 list, guys. Like, that's amazing. And celebrated by Entrepreneur Magazine as some of the best entrepreneurial companies in America. She also is a Forbes contributor and seasoned podcast host herself, who brings unmatched energy and clarity to every conversation about brand building, leadership, and media innovation. So I'm so excited to have you join us today.
I'm excited too. Let's get into it, right?
Absolutely. So how does someone go from an early adopter to industry icon, and what can we learn from kind of the systems and mindset and momentum behind it?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think when at the precipice of when social started becoming a thing back in 2010, I kind of jumped on that initial bandwagon. And you're right, it was long before a buzzword. I think if I had a nickel for every time somebody said the Facebook won't be around long, I maybe wouldn't be sitting here. But I think it's through consistency. I think it's through proper scale, systems, operations, making sure that you've got kind of all the behind the scenes things buttoned up, and then always being future focused, right? So in social, we live in an industry where it's literally changing every moment. So from an algorithmic perspective, a trending perspective, making sure that you've got a well-oiled team, brilliant team, which I very much do, that is paying attention to all of those details.
I love it. And so for those who are not familiar with your company, tell us a little bit more about Evoke Brands.
Yeah, so the Evoke Agency, we, again, started in 2010 as a small consultancy, which I see a lot of opportunity from an AI perspective, the same sort of milestone and trend, if you will, but started in 2010, and we now are really a full service agency, but we focus a lot on the digital ecosystem. So we work with brands, large CPG brands from, brands like Wella, Marriott, GE Appliances, Hinkle brands, to really understand what their business goals and objectives are, and then how can we build a really smart social media digital strategy around those goals and KPIs. Wow. So I'm lucky to have a team of almost 50 here in the Midwest. We've got a production studio where we're just content machines for the brands, because as we know, content is queen and king.
Exactly. I love that. So what drew you into social media? Like, have you always been a huge fan of like branding and marketing in general?
Yeah, so I have about 25 years in the marketing and branding space. I started my career at an agency, and I always had the hope and dream that I could create my own, and then specifically work in the markets that we work in. So it's been a labor of love, certainly over the last 25 years. But, for me, it's storytelling. Back in the day in college, I had my degree in journalism, and I think that is really kind of the foundation of what good content, good social, good marketing and branding is. And so the path that degree and experience led me on really led me to here.
I love that. And so when you think back to those early days of the Evoke and Tease Media, what was your why? Like, what was your deeper motivation that fueled your vision? Because, man, there are hard days in business, as we all know. What kept you going?
Very much so. Very much so. I think I've always been incredibly intrinsically motivated. And so I think that's a key factor. But my mom and dad were both entrepreneurs as well. And so I grew up in a household where we took risks, and there were ups and there were downs and there were successes and wins. And that commonality with that type of childhood and upbringing, I think, allows you to forge your own path in some way. Both were really uncharted territory. So Evoke, what is social? It's not going to be around in 10 years or 20 years. And here we are, right? So that was very much uncharted territory. And then the Tease Media, also, it's a very niche media brand for beauty news. And that was also not uncharted, but in the sector from a salon professional space, the market we serve with beauty news, it certainly is in a way.
Yeah. I love that you said you grew up in a household where you could take risks. I mean, social media in and of itself was a huge risk. I remember, and I'm going to date myself here, but when MySpace came out, right? Like,
for sure. It was awesome.
I tried to log into my MySpace account the other day, and I don't know of anyone who can even access their MySpace account. But the thing is that you have to try. You have to be willing to take those risks and see what pans out. And I love the fact that you put your horse in the race for social media, and you were one of the ones that really pioneered it in such a huge way. So how do you feel about taking risks in general? Obviously you grew up that way, but even now, has it really paid off for you? Have you had blunders?
Yes, had blunders, certainly. But taking risks defines me. Everything, I believe that no mountain is too big. I think if you said, can you get me to the moon in 2 days, I could be like, yes, let's find a way to do it. And so I really am fearless from a risk perspective, but that also comes with reward, right? And it also comes with some of those blunders. And I think the only time that I've really had some failures, if you will, and I've had many, are when I didn't instinctively trust my gut instinct. Yeah. So I really believe, positivity and great things come kind of back around both in personal and business life. And so I'm very intuitive into what that risk should be or shouldn't be.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's because it's not just like risk for the sake of taking risks. It's an educated risk taking that you have. I'm sure you study it out in your mind. I don't know if you pray or if you meditate or whatever that looks like for you. It's not just, sure, let's do it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's a calculated risk, certainly. And that's, there's a lot of research and strategy that goes into that, but then having that confidence to take that risk. I wish more people would have that confidence, to be honest. I was telling some of my incredible interns the other day that let's just do away with the word imposter syndrome, or the two words. Like, why can't you have it all? Who said you couldn't get there? Right? Why shouldn't you be in the room? And so I'd like to say, people that are around me and people that I mentor and even peers, take the risk. The worst that could happen is you fail and get back up again and keep going.
Definitely. So speaking of taking risks, how is AI helping you take risks? Like, what are you doing in the AI space?
Yeah, I think from an agency perspective, we have really embraced it in a lot of different ways. And I just wrote an article in Forbes about this recently, about kind of the top things that how AI fits into the modern marketing space, if you will, and kind of start to finish. So from like a strategy and research perspective, identifying audience insights, competitive scans, demand signals. So why is this trending? Why isn't this trending? Certainly very applicable for us. Creative content, in the creative space, sometimes you sit down at your computer and you're like, I don't know where to start. Like, it's a blank slate. I'm out of ideas for the day, right? And so very much, creative sprints where you're like asking and prompting to have 20 to 50 ideas spit out to just get your mind moving. And I want to be really clear that I don't believe AI is going to replace all things marketing and all things agencies. I think those that are embracing AI are going to have a really competitive advantage. And from an efficiency perspective and a timing perspective, it speeds up the process.
Yeah, it really does. And that's a really good way to say it, is that it speeds up the process. It doesn't replace the process, right? I
Correct.
mean, you guys obviously have an
Correct.
incredible process to get people amazing results, but what have you done to bring AI into your process?
Yeah, so we use a variety of different tools. I mean, certainly the age-old Chat GPT is a great place to start. We take a look at kind of where those efficiencies, even from a creative perspective, we can have. Also, things like our internal operations and procedures. So, what does it look like to draft a scope or an SOW using AI that we've trained and prompted? Cuts your time in not even half. I mean, in seconds, right?
Wow.
Revenue planning, taking a look at different revenue and finance models. What we do as a service business, our offering is hours and time, right? So we want to make sure that, we certainly track our time in certain softwares, but then how are we analyzing that data to make sure that, yes, we spent X amount of time on this. Yes, this is our billable rate. What is the percentage of profit rate, our loss rate with each of these projects, with each of our retainer clients year over year? So certainly some financial modeling in there as it relates to our tracking and estimates at costing.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love how you're just incorporating it into
Yeah,
everything that you're doing, because it is a tool to
yeah,
be able to help us be more productive and serve more people. I mean, that's really
for
what
sure.
it's all about. So,
Yeah.
so you've scaled multiple companies and done it in industries that evolve like super fast.
Yes.
What have you found to be your biggest leadership growth moments in the process?
Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's certainly surrounding yourself with the best and brightest and those who are smarter than you. I initially, my first employee that I hired, I'm blessed that she's still with me 13 years later, has been an incredible partner in growing both of the brands. And so it's
Mm.
identifying talent and then making sure that you're mentoring and growing that talent to their wildest possible potential, right? There should be no limits on where they go. Other leadership things, I fall more so on kind of like the visionary track, if you will. And with the visionary usually doesn't like to have standard operating procedures and follow directions. And that very much is me. And so, putting into place those SOPs, those processes for everything from financial to hiring to staffing to training to client relations to creative work has really been key in scaling. I think you can't scale unless you have those processes in place.
So true. And your team can't shine unless they have those in
Right.
place, because then it just creates kind of that chaotic atmosphere.
Yeah.
So speaking of your team, especially as you've expanded, because I think you said you're at what, 50 employees now?
Yep. Right around there. Yep.
Oh, that is so awesome. So how do you keep rooted in innovation and building like structure around the chaos of creativity? Because it can
Yeah.
be kind of a messy process, right?
Yeah, definitely. So what was the question? How do we create structure around it?
Yeah. How do you create structure and how do you stay rooted in innovation?
Innovation is the utmost importance in what we do in this social landscape. Even influencer,
Mm.
ambassador, I think public relations has changed so much. So like kind of the key service offerings that we have, we want to make sure that we are on the edge and innovating that. So we do a lot of research, a lot of reading, making sure that our entire team, just our leadership, is in tune with what is happening in competitive markets, what is happening with competitors of the brands that we work with, so we can make sure that things as a me too, right, we're actually coming up with different ideas and concepts and avenues for them to pursue so they too can be innovators and leaders in their space. And then structure, it was interesting to me. I started in the agency space and obviously I'm in media, and I dreamt of starting an agency where the account team members were also marketers and strategists and creatives. And so everyone on our team crosses those boundaries. They aren't just in some big agencies, the account team could be the order taker that takes it back to the creative director that says, go do this. They take it back. And there's so much lost in translation with that. It's so inefficient. Why not have the one that is talking with the client every day, that is in their community on social media and understands what their customers want? Why aren't they the ones helping direct creative? So our model, agency wise, is actually really different. It's sort of a blend of creatives, a blend of marketers, a blend of strategists.
That's so beautiful. I mean, like you said, why not have them be in that seat?
Right,
And especially when it comes to creativity too. I mean, you get to know the audience, you get to know the
right.
client. I think a lot of people are worried that AI is replacing creativity,
Yeah.
which is not the case, right? You've
Yeah.
seen that. How would you combat that concern and that question that people have of that you're going to just turn into a robot, and
Yeah.
that you're even that your performance and algorithms on social media is going to go down? How do you make sure that you keep that creativity?
I think there always has to be the human touch, right? You can tell and identify if something has been spit out from AI. I mean, was it J. Crew? I think it was J. Crew and Vans. Maybe they had a huge national ad campaign where they used AI and their models were AI and the feet were on backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? Like who was the one like proofing this? And so I mean, these are huge brands. And so it goes to show, I mean, how many layers must have seen that content before it went live in Times Square? I mean, so the human interaction, the human interpretation of the data of the process and systems that AI can provide, that is never going to go away. It's not going to be replaced by a robot or a machine because as it gets refined, I think we'll have certainly more advancements. It'll become more let's see, it will become smarter, right? As we feed it all of our information. But what about the human touch?
Yeah.
It's never going to go away.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it sounds like you guys have things in place to make sure that there's human touches. Is it always
Yes.
just at the end of the process, or is it throughout? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. We have been lucky and worked hard to have almost 100% referral based clientele. So in the agency space, that is really, really difficult, as you know. And we treat our customers, our clients, like family. And that sounds super cliche, but we've had a lot of our clients for, 13, 14 plus years. And when brand manager goes here and moves over to be the CMO or VP, they take us with them. And that's the most wonderful compliment we could have. Our people are all, I mean, there's a Midwest nice to all of this too. I mean, we're located in the Midwest, and the team members that we have, I would describe them all as brilliant and Midwest nice. In fact, our client at GE Appliances, he said, Kelly, you know what? We work with a lot of different agencies, and we work with smart agencies that aren't that nice, and we work with nice agencies that aren't that. They're not getting us over the finish line, right? We look at a Vogue and say, you are the smart, nice agency. You have both of it. So humanizing, making sure that you've got process in place for touch points. We have a saying that is stolen directly from Walt Disney. And if you think about Disney, I mean, everything is so in place, right? On point characters. I mean, did you know the characters can't break the hug first from a child? Like if
Oh,
a
I
child is, yeah, if you're hugging a character, they can never let go first. I mean, how beautiful is that? It like
yeah.
gives me chills, right? It's so cool. And back in the day, Walt Disney had his theory was, everybody has the same name tag. They've got their first name on there and where they're from, country, state, whatever it might be. And if you think about that tiny little detail, that really is something special because you're standing in line. You're like, I'm hot. My kids are irritated. I'm irritated. Like this is taking too long. But then you see somebody scanning your ticket and you're like, wait a second. You're from Iowa? I'm from Iowa too. And it's this human connectivity point. And that is called over managing the details. And we do that in every step of the way. So I also have something called Project Orchid, which is a business philosophy that I invented or Kate made up, let's be real, where if somebody were to give us a referral, if they were to sign on as a client, ask us to join an RFP, any of those things, they trigger in our system an Orchid that lands on their desk the next day. And you'll be surprised that I believe this is certainly one of the keys and those little tiny moments that we're over managing, all those little tiny details that add up to an incredible agency with incredible success and a media entity with incredible success too. So Project Orchid, very important to us. We've actually won work from that in the fact that one client said it was really close between the two of you, the two agencies, but we all thought back to those orchids that you sent us first phone call. We didn't even know if it was going to go anywhere. And we picked you because of that. So that is, again, an over management of the details and something that's really, really, really deeply in the core of our agency. And that's my soul too. I like to give and give and give until I have nothing left. And I think that all comes back in full circle in life and in business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those wow moments, right? When you can
Yeah.
really go above and beyond what people are expecting. And AI, I mean, yeah, you can brainstorm AI ideas
Right.
and that type of thing, but AI is not the one to make that human to human connection.
Right.
It helps with the admin stuff so that you can have time to make those human connections.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I'm never gonna look at an orchid again the same.
No,
So that was
no.
beautiful.
And you know why? You know why the orchid? Because you could get a chocolate, you could get a cookie, you could get coffee, whatever. But something about the orchid, first of all, they're strewn about in my office, in my home. I love them. I'm a flower girl at heart. But if you think about an orchid, it's not going to die in a week, right? It's going to be there for 3 months, 4 months, whatever it might be, maybe even longer if you could regrow them, which is a skill that I've oddly mastered. But every time you look at that orchid, you're going to think about it to you, why they sent it to you, and do you want to spend your days with them, right? Do you want to work alongside them and grow with them? And it's something that sticks around, and that's a key to it as well.
I know that is like one of my favorite flowers because of that.
Same.
Like roses die
Exactly.
so quickly, but I have an orchid on my desk as well, and
Love.
and that's so beautiful. Yeah, you're giving me ideas for like prospecting and all that. I'll send them an
Oh yeah,
orchid.
I'm
That's
telling
great.
you, it'll work. It'll work. I guarantee you.
Oh, I love what you're building. I love your heart around it.
Thank you.
So talk to me about, like, you've done a lot of different things with AI already, but where's one area that, like, if I could build an AI agent custom
Oh.
to your exact needs, what would you want this AI agent to do for you?
Wow. I think for me, it would be more so on the operations side because that is, again, I'm not a process gal, right? the creative. And if it's something to streamline that, and again, we put into some place some of those things, but I think there will be even more integration with other types of AI. So from like again, financial forecasting that connects with all of your accounting software, that connects with your billing software, that connects with your time cards and time sheets, quote unquote, that people are entering time. And so how much more could you streamline on the back end for me so that I can be forward facing more, because that's really where I shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And that's exactly why we do what we do. We build
I love
AI
it.
agents for that exact reason. So, so give me a little hint. What is next for the two brands that you are over?
Yeah. So Evoke has been having an incredible year. And thanks to our team, I have nothing to do with it, it's all them. And we just want to continue to expand in different market segments. So it allows us, this year we entered the food category from a client perspective. We're entering some other categories eventually here too that are kind of top secret. I do think that there's opportunities from an AI consulting perspective too, to come in and say, hey, here's how we could streamline this process working together, how we could get approvals faster, how we could ideate together faster. So I think there's some improvement there from a collaboration perspective. And then on the media side, I mean, some people think that the media is dying, but we are a B2B prosumer outlet, which is very much not dying. We are taking market share as fast as humanly possible from our competitors. And we're bringing print back. We actually printed our first magazine. And it's like, remember when you used to get your Vogue, or still maybe do, or your whatever it might be, and you'd sit there and you'd just crave every page and what is next. And I know that we get fed information on our phones all the time, but there's something about, what is old is coming back new, and we're putting our eggs in that basket. We just, the name of our magazine is Printed by the Tees. It's more of a coffee table book, 100 pages, beautiful paper, beautifully printed and designed and written. So what's old is new. It's coming back for media, and then certainly AI integrations and market segment expansion for Evoke.
That is so cool. I'm a paper girl. Like if I'm reading a
Same.
book, I want a paper book. Maybe I'm old school like that, but we're
No,
on our screens all the time.
all the time.
So it's
Right.
kind of nice to get a break every once in a while from it.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I still have some friends who have like the paper planners. I'm not there, like the paper calendars. I've evolved from that, but there's some beauty in having like just your information on a document.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
exactly. And I love that the old stuff is coming back and it's retro now. So it's really
Yes,
cool.
right.
But
It's like 90s, like the 90s vibes are back. And I'm like, well, I know they left, but like I'm like at that age where it's all coming back around and you're like, dude, we did this way better. We did this way better than the trends coming back now.
exactly. Music. Oh man, I'm a 90s girl when it comes to music. That's like my whole playlist. So, and I still think that 90s was like last decade. So, that's where
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, when somebody's like, it's 2025, you're like, what do you mean?
yeah.
What do you mean it's 2025? I think COVID like kind of stopped the clock for me and maybe I reverted backwards, but life is moving fast and got to be grateful and gracious and positive for all the great things in the world.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so excited about your magazine and just everything that you have coming up. So for entrepreneurs who are just starting or reimagining their business in this new digital era, what's one piece of advice that you would really leave them with?
Don't be afraid to dive in. I mean, I have a lot of business owners that I talk with or people who want to start businesses and they're like, I'm not going to use AI for any of this. I'm against it. I'm not using it. I think it's going to go away. No, it's not. It's not going to go away. So teach yourself, just like I taught myself social media in 2010 when Twitter had just launched, the Facebook was just open to brands and the public. I taught myself those things. There was no playbook. There was no, here's how to start a social media agency. So I think with AI, you've got to dive in, you've got to learn it, even if you don't want to learn it, because once you do, you're going to find out. When I sat down, 2 years ago to write a proposal with a blank screen, it took me 2 hours. When I prompted AI, it took four minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, and certainly there's refinement and that's a thought starter, but go in the water for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think you are just such an example of innovation and courage and risk-taking in such a beautiful way. And I just love this conversation. Thank you so much for bringing your beautiful spirit and just showing us what's possible when it comes to taking a chance on something that's new.
Do it. Take the chance. Take the leap.
Beautiful. So if people want to connect with you, obviously they can go to your website and I'll put that back up here again, evokebrands.com. How else can they connect with you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at Kelly Ehlers and it's EHLERS. That's a place to find me. I think I spend a lot of my time on LinkedIn too. Actually, that's my favorite social media platform because I'm a business development gal. I'm going to hunt you down until you're our client. So find me on LinkedIn, find me on primarily Instagram.
Awesome. I love it. So definitely check out evokebrands.com because you've got to see what this amazing woman is up to and her incredible team. Thank you once again, Kelly, for being on the show and just sharing your amazing expertise. And I am just so excited to see where Evoke Brands goes next.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. So that is it for this episode of the Mastering AI Momentum. Stay visionary, stay inventive, and keep building your momentum with AI as your advantage. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Ali and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.